Warning, this video is intended for audiences who are 13 or older. If you are not 13 or older, please fuck off and tell your parents to moderate what you watch online.
Tariq, hey.
Hey.
Hey, so what do you think that hurricane's approaching right now?
Well, all I know is that it brought us our baby boy back, and that's all I care about.
Oh, that's right.
Thank God he's home. Bring back our troops. Bring back our troops. William's back. Thank God. I missed you.
Yeah.
This review that should have been done like 2 weeks ago can finally be done.
It's okay. We operate on our schedule, man.
So as you know, you exist nothing more within this space as a promotional gimmick material for us to stand out in front of the crowd. Like ignore our political joke gimmick, right? Ignore that gimmick.
Gimmicks that we do.
Yeah, ignore the other.
You are the soundboard with which we gauge reactions from.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right?
Fucking.
So William. You have now officially finished your first Kamen Rider season from start to finish, but you haven't watched episode 0 yet, which is a problem.
I don't look, man. Look, it's only from what you told me earlier. It's only in China. It's fucking. So what's the fucking point? And besides, I don't care about fucking episode 0. Fuck Saber at this point.
Oh, what do you mean? You want to say that now?
Did you not have a good experience watching Kamen Rider Saber?
Yeah, I mean it's a wonder, right? Like
a wonder book, a wonder ride. It was a wonder ride, wasn't it?
Look, they promise a wonder.
A wonder story, if you would say.
Yeah, some would say that, but then it just went downhill. I don't know where to. Oh god.
All right. Okay. So this is the Kamen Rider Saber review. You know, as part of our weekly unnamed tokusatsu podcast series or some shit, yada yada. Intro, opening bit, monologue, code open.
The end of an era. Thank God.
Yeah, credit rolls. Do.
Oh, okay. Are we doing music now? Do we have a theme that comes on when we're...
No. Of course not. Hold on. We have whatever royalty-free music I can get off YouTube.
Oh my god. Wait, I don't even think that would work on YouTube. The YouTube would just copyright it anyway because it's from YouTube.
No, you're right.
Well, there goes our series.
All right. So, hey, William. So now that you finished Kamen Rider Saber, we can finally do the Kamen Rider Saber review. And so how do you feel? So remember, you're the gimmick. As your overall impression, what are your thoughts about this as Kamen Rider as a whole after all this?
Okay, so I guess we're ignoring my fuck Saber from earlier, right?
No, we want a real detailed, we want a in-depth analysis.
All right. So how do we go about this? Okay.
So let's put it this way. First of all, how do you feel at the end of it?
Oh, by the end of it. Well, the ending is fucking disappointing as shit, okay? And it has no fucking logical conclusion to anything.
Do you mean the ending of the series or the ending of the epilogue?
Because there's still a movie that's going to come out that apparently takes place 8 years after the current series.
Why? Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just like... It fell down so hard at the fucking end, and then they're gonna do them. I mean, I guess, like, with the kids, and, like, I don't know how their toy sales are doing. I guess it may have made a good amount for them to actually do that. I mean,
it's pretty common for Kamen Rider, after their series finished, they get movies, right?
Yeah.
How many movies they get depends on how popular that series is. That is why Kamen Rider 01 has, like, 20 different movies out right now.
Oh shit!
That was last year's season.
Was it actually really popular? Was it really that good?
It did really well. I mean, it was because it was the start of the Reiwa era, because of the whole Japan shit.
Yeah.
And so it was like there was a lot riding on it to like set the standard for what this new era of Kamen Riders was going to be, and I wouldn't say it played it safe, but it did a lot of the things that people. It did its own take on a lot of the things people love. Like Kamen Rider is initially about a dude who looks like a fucking grasshopper suit, wears a grasshopper suit. So they did a more technological
they modernized
that sort of grasshopper look to be more because it was also about robots and shit. So it was more tech based. So it stuck to fundamentals while also doing its own thing and brought in a bunch of Kamen Riders and told this big fucking save the world fucking it hit all the points that it needed to hit. versus Saber, where they went
the ending
cool.
arc of that series was a race war. All right, William.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not joking about this. The character themselves literally says, the main villain themselves says, we're gonna start a race war.
Oh, God. Really? He really straight up says that? Holy shit.
He straight up says, AI technology is gonna start a race war with humanity. That's not a shit, but that's an actual line he says within the show. Anyway, 01 was good. Alright, and so because of that, it got like, I think at the top of my head, I think as of right now, it has 4 spin-off movies, if I believe.
Well, yeah, because each of them are like different, different like arcs and stuff. Arc, get it? Because Arc was the main villain of that fucking series. But yeah, so like, it was handled competently, you know, at least.
Okay.
But this is like, this was they really rushed off with a fucking a lot of goodwill. Like, they had a lot of good faith going into this, and so it was like expectations were set really high
and everything. But I feel like they were really putting all their money on that Saber was going to be a big hit.
Well, I mean, and I think you could say that part of it is like working around COVID, but I don't even think that's accurate anymore, because it's just at a certain point that the plot overall is like, what were you trying to tell? What story was trying to be told? And for the life of me, I was like, okay, so we were trying to save Luna. Well, we didn't do that.
Well,
like, you're trying, like what he found out the reason why Luna was gone. All right, cool. And then Luna came back, cool. And then Luna stays gone. Like, I feel like nothing was truly accomplished of any of the goals that could have been set for this.
I mean, by the end of Saber, like, literally, I think it got too big up for itself. You know, that's the kind of the thing.
Like the whole there were too many ideas going around.
It had too many ideas. Interesting, mind you, but it's like, the thing is, a lot of it was kind of like being put in by near the end of the series, and so like it couldn't really like focus or complete or like, you know, deliver on any of them really.
Right.
When you say 13 Kamen Rider is too many for a
series, it wasn't even. Was it even 13 at the end? Because I feel like at that by the end we were at like 15 or 6. No,
it's like 11, right?
Hold on.
11.
Well, hold on. Are we counting? Also, depends on if we're counting people that are also whether we're counting multiple Kamen Riders for people continuously taking a different Kamen Rider's power. Like, if we count just the number of times that Caliber switched, right? That's like an extra 4 fucking people, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 13.
Okay, yeah, that's...
But then again, it's like, if you fucking went and then go, okay, well then, Falchion is 2 people become Falchion. Fucking, like, 4 people become Caliber, because it's, Hayato, who's Kento's dad, then it's Daichi Kamijo, then it's Kento, then it's Sophia. So that's 4 fucking people that became that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if we're just looking at it in terms of, like, number of characters that are Kamen Riders, it's like fucking 20.
I just meant like individual characters.
But if there's individual Kamen Rider like suits, sure, there's 13. Yeah. But it was so much, and
the problem I think that's where I was, the fact that that's probably one because there was too many story arcs that was going on throughout the story. Even though the show is technically divided into 3 arcs, boy, those 3 arcs were too much because there's so much stuff that was going on.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, again, because they had like. One specific example I do remember is like, the thing is, again, going with the thing, like, they had too much going on, and then this just later dropped, and there's not going to be no explanation for it. One example would be Toma and his eye thing, if you remember correctly. Because if you remember, he had that thing when he was I forget the name of the writer, the one who's basically King Crimson, right?
Durandal?
Durandal, right? And like, he had this thing where he can, like, with his eyes, he saw past the attack, right? And like that happened for like 2 episodes, right? And then it kind of goes away for a bit. Then it comes back again the one time, and then it goes away. But the thing is, there's no explanation for it. And the thing is, I don't see the purpose in it really. Because by the end of it, it's like it doesn't matter.
I mean, I guess it was supposed to, because he only was able to see past it with the primitive elemental dragon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was supposed to be like, I feel like that was supposed to be, and I'm fucking reaching here and doing their work for them by trying to find an explanation in nothing.
No, yeah.
But it was like, I feel like that was supposed to be our foreshadowing or our hint that he is starting to evolve. But
the thing is
but they never follow up on why that's happened. There's no like confirmation. There's nothing to it that actually would imply that that's what that was. I'm finding a fucking like explanation on my own.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because the thing is, well, like the thing is the story's not told well again because it's just like they don't have the time for it, and so like. We shouldn't have to be the ones to like look for an explanation. They're supposed to have told us visually why that's a thing.
Yeah.
There's also like, well, the thing is, again, there's that whole thing where like they have too many riders. Like some of them are interesting and stuff, but the thing is, you got basically Ogami and Tetsuo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They they're interesting characters, right? But the thing is, then they get pushed off to the side, and they had to focus on Toma and to try to get the story back on track. It's just a lot of it's very unfocused, and then there's the whole thing with Sophia, who is just shafted for like so many episodes. She's brought back, and then she doesn't do much at all in the story.
She disappears so many times in the show.
Yeah,
like for little to no.
She disappeared for an entire arc. That's like,
no, but I'm saying like she disappeared like to go talk to Caliber, and then like was gone, and for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then or at least episodes, and then. Like, Caliber gets fucking dealt with, shit starts going down with Southern Base, and then, like, she disappears, like, 5 episodes into that because she just gets fucking abducted. And then she isn't, like, brought back until fucking Kento shows up as Caliber, and, like, even then, doesn't show up until the insurrection happens, right?
Yeah,
Like, and then when she does come back, she's barely, like... an agent of herself anyway, and she never really does. Like, the fact of the matter is, her whole role, the minute that the book that she gives to May, that, like, tells when Megiddo are appearing, like, when and where they are, the minute that book is introduced, her role is fucking done. She like, it's completely taken away from her. And it doesn't make... Like, she doesn't offer any... Like, she's not Yuri, right? The all of this exposition that came from, like, Yuri should have come from, if not Sophia herself, at least both of them. Like, her reinforcing stuff. Instead, so many people, other than Yuri, right, have no fucking clue what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, but it's just... it kind of fucking boggles the mind, too. Because the thing is... I don't like alongside with that is there's a lot of like again they have interesting ideas, but there's no real setup, and the payoff is kind of just
this is not good for me.
Like what's the term? It's very much moot. Because like again like Sophia is kind of an example of that too, because you have her
here.
She is essentially like
not good.
What the Master of Logo said. She is a, if I remember correctly, she's
an artificially crafted like
a being of the first.
She's supposed to be an artificial copy of Luna, or at least of the first person.
Of the first Avatar. It's the best thing.
Can we talk
first
about
Avatar
her role just diminish as the show goes on?
No, but the thing is, whenever they try to have her do something too, this is like they kind
of some problem with Sophia's character. That the show was like she's supposed to be the sage, like she tells everyone what's up, right?
Yeah.
But then Yuri comes in, he does a better job.
Right.
But then she disappears, right?
Yeah.
But then when she comes back again, she tries to act like, all right, I know what's been going on.
Yeah, that's basically what we were saying.
But
the other thing is that
what I'm saying right now, Austin, is just the fact that like there is so very little setup, and the payoff is just not worth it. Because the thing is, you don't have there's no impact to it, right? Sophia's an example of that because she's an avatar of the Wonder World, right? And then it's just like, and so that kind of suggests that she's kind of a big deal, or like she's an artificial like version of the avatar,
she's
right?
Important.
So you think she would have some big importance to the plot, but she just kind of like, we learn she's kind of a big deal, but we don't see it, and it's never really felt afterwards in the series, right? And then it's just like they kind of try to make it like they try to make her involved when she becomes like Caliber, right? But the thing is, first of all, that's like if anybody deserved the role of becoming a Kamen Rider by the end of the series, I would say it's May, right?
Yeah, it really like it came out. It also came out of nowhere that she just like took the sword.
Yeah, and it's just like also there's a supposed friendship with her and like what were the names? Daichi and what was his?
And Hayato.
And Hayato, right? There's like this friendship thing going on. And again, I made that reference to Naruto and everything. But it kind of feels like, at least for those three, they're kind of like Team 7 before Naruto Team 7, right?
Fuck, yeah. I guess that is basically the parallel they're trying to imply is that Luna, Hayato, and Daichi are the like parallel to Kento, Toma, and Luna. Yeah,
but the thing is, it's like we don't really feel anything from that friendship at all. It's kind of like they seem like good friends, and they're like, but we never see any of this, right? And so all we got
from that was everything was in flashbacks, and there wasn't ever really like that much shown of them doing anything like bonding wise. Like the thing is, with so much going on and so many characters, and like there's never really that much of an idle moment at a certain point. Like there's so much happening at any given point in time that they are always like running into the base and then running right the fuck back out. Anytime they start an episode with them like at the base, it is moments before they like run back out to go like do something else. There's no downtime with this series because it's just having so much happen at all times. Yeah. Like,
it's just...
And I think... No, keep going.
No, I'm just saying it because it's like, it's setting it with itself like a constant pace where it's just they're rushing towards the end, but they're not giving like anybody a chance to kind of breathe and take in the information that they just like constantly throw at you too, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just frustrating trying to keep everything kind of together. And even then, it's like with all the stuff they throw at you, a lot of it just doesn't make sense in general, or doesn't fit well with anything, you know. And even by the end of it, you're still like, I would have to rewatch the series like maybe a second or a third time to even try to like put together an actual lore with this thing, you know.
Yeah. And like there's also there are like too many MacGuffins in this series, right?
Yeah.
There's the Tome of Omniscience, the like tablet of contents, and the Book of Knowledge. I think
so. Yeah.
Like I think all three of them, because it was like Rentaro's final form was born from the Book of Knowledge that was in Northern Base, and then the Southern Base had the tome, or maybe it's the other way around. That the Tome of Omniscience... Well, I don't know what the difference between a Tome of Omniscience and... God damn it. I have to look this shit up, because this is, like, again, like you're saying, like, trying to keep track of all of the shit happening, right, is so... It's so all over the place. But I was just trying to say, like, there's so many terms being, like, thrown around. You don't really know what anybody's trying to get or stop someone from getting at any given point in time. And everybody is, like... It got to a point, right, with all of the... especially with once we get past, or once we get to like Reika and her whole gaslighting arc, and then getting to Master Logos and his whole gaslighting arc, and then Storius, who's maybe telling the truth, and then Yuri, is telling the truth, but we've also heard these terms already. We've become like fucking gaslit because we don't know what the fuck is true anymore. Like, what are we actually looking for? Yeah. And then, but in the meantime, nobody in the series is actually asking these questions. They're just nodding along, going, "Yes, I understand now. That's absolutely what it is." And it's like, what? How? What? Who? What do you mean? Like, where? How are you? Okay, you explain it to me then. Like, tell me what the fuck. Like, we're supposed to understand from this.
Yeah, and like they do try to explain things, but it's never done well. Or it's like at least they try to set up some stuff, but by the time they do some setup, they kind of give up. Like they really just give up at the end, like trying to explain anything, right? Because there's that whole thing with Storius, and then there's all this stuff that he kind of brings out of nowhere, right? Like with the whole ending the world thing, and like. And
that big tower,
his big master plan
that he had the entire time.
Yeah.
Talking about his big plan, he's been planning since episode 1. She's like, this has always been my plan since the beginning. This was all part of the plan.
Yeah, it's like if we at least got some like. I know we seemed like Storius kind of do some scheming beforehand. Like he did that whole scheming with Master Logos, right? And I get there was a thing before that. They're trying to set up a thing for during that. Is what I mean. But before any of that, it's like none of it's made clear. And then it's like even then, his motivations aren't made clear until the end, and he's telling it to us. I'm like, but this is kind of like this should have been done beforehand. Because like it's literally in the last 2 episodes that we get any sense of it.
It's the problem is there's too many villain plots going on.
Yeah, because the thing is, we get the three big Megiddo villains, right? But then they kind of get shafted for a while, and then because we have to focus on
because we got to figure out who Caliber is, who is Caliber.
Yeah, and then and the whole and they also focus on Reika and then Master of Logos at this point, right?
But before we can even get to them, we get shift to oh god, that's a good burger. Then we shift to Master Logos, and he's like, and now he's all of a sudden the big bad.
Yeah, and it's just, and then he does his whole power trip stuff, and then Storius comes back, and then it's just like
then Storius doesn't get set up until like towards the end when Master Logos is about to die.
Yeah,
it's because there's too many villains within the show. Because the way the series we presented that the Megiddos, the Roddy Rough Boys were the big bad, but then they just get shot to like, I guess alright.
You know what would have fixed?
We're not gonna pay attention to that.
You want to know what would have fixed that a lot though? If we found out through the Master of Logos, if like the reason he went mad was because of Storius, But instead he just kind of went mad just cause like, we've been at this for so long, I might as well just do whatever the fuck I want, right? And it's like I felt like at least it would have been a nice fix if it was just like if you had Storius like kind of just constantly whispering to him, like where instead of them
make Storius the real gaslighter throughout the entire
series. And you can make it so that the Master of
the real puppet master
I mean, technically that is what happened.
Well, technically
that is what happened. Manipulating each other.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's the way it's shown too, right? Because the thing is. It's constantly shown that it's like the Master of Logos like, you work for me. But if it was like more Master of Logos listening to Storius, that would have been a lot more effective, in saying that Storius was plotting this all along. And then
there's no. I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, Master Logos even, like, in and of himself, is a character that gets completely dropped out of, like, almost nowhere when he finally shows up. Like, it's not that it's not that he's like he needed to be like shown more, but he's never brought up in a way that is like he's not foreshadowed before Reika shows up. Even though they mention Southern Base, even though that we have there's no like implication of him or the sages or any of the things.
At the beginning of it, I remember.
Where's
this is real
Southern
funny.
Base?
There's a Southern base. How funny would be if there was a Northern base?
Yeah, I remember that too. Well. Oh my god.
Yeah, because we're because there's no setup for anything. Like they just keep like every episode, they just drop information. Like we just have to go along with it.
Yeah, because basically it's
that they keep dropping.
I guess the best way to look at it, right, is that the policy was essentially explain first or do first, explain later. And I don't think that's in any way like a coherent way to. I think that the best way to do that from a narrative perspective is to mix those two. Like, I'm not saying that this has to be something where it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like an anime comparison, but like, something. I was gonna say something like Hunter x Hunter, right? Where they're kind of like breaking down their fucking attack, like what's happening in the middle of the fight at all times.
Oh yeah,
but to be fair, they do that in an entertaining way, and it's interesting to like figure out what's happening, and some of it's just fucking funny, right? Where it's like, yeah, my power is fucking putting you into goddamn debt. Like, here's like, yeah, like, hey, every time you punch my weird stuffed animal, you go into fucking debt. Have fun, bitch. And it's like, oh, okay, fuck it. But they do it, and then it's just like, because of the rules that are set up with it, and just being basically like, anything can happen from this. Anything can happen from this ability, this magic system that we set up, for lack of a better term for it.
But yeah,
that's what Nen is.
Because the thing is, they at least set up the rules for it, and they explain
right.
It to
They
you
set up
during
the
fight.
rules, and they say that like, yeah, there's almost no rules to a certain extent, but there are rules. But like, but they just don't fucking do that for this, where they keep making new rules and telling you stuff as it comes up. Like they keep going. How is this, like, the perfect example is the fucking, Onkokuken? What was it? The Kuriyami. Where it's just like, oh god, Calibur's here, he's attacking. Oh, well, it can also cut through dimensions. Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You didn't want to tell us this earlier? That there was a fucking dimension slicing sword? Fucking Yu Yu Hakusho up in this bitch?
God.
And then it was like, oh yeah, it could also seal the soul of people that it cuts down. What? It can send people to the Shadow Realm? Okay. Alright, cool. Alright. Fuck, man, I guess. And then we get, like, 20 episodes or something of Reprieve, where we don't get, like, new Caliber facts. And then when Kento comes back and, like, fully, like, starts actually explaining, like, what the fuck's going on, he's like, oh, yeah, it also tells me the future. Like, every single worst possible outline. I'm Doctor Strange now. What?
Yeah.
What? Like, it just keeps adding things. And, like, sure, it between, like, Kento talking about it and, like, Yuri giving us fucking info, like, sure, we get told things, like, we're learning things, but there's no... The fact that, for so many of the characters even, this is a fucking... This is new information, is ridiculous. And then the amount of time that they take to tell us, the viewers, and leave us in the same, like, narrative irony as the characters is so weird. Like, like, it's one thing if they showed us, like, instead of giving us fucking Disaster and Ren, like, eating ramen, right? They just, every one of those, maybe 1 in 3 of those fucking, like, cutscenes was just fucking, like, Kento, like, in the fetal position on the ground somewhere, just, like, holding his head and seeing flashes of the future, and then eventually telling them that that's what he's dealing with. That would have been a better, like, narrative, like, plot development or way of introducing this and you know, pitching it up for the story than just dropping it all at once. Like, nothing is paced out in a way that is natural for the viewer, for the audience. It's like, listen, you find out when they find out. That's all you get. And it's like, that, I don't think that's a good... That doesn't really make suspense. That just makes info dumps.
Yeah.
It's also very flawed as well within the series. Do you guys remember at the beginning of the series when there was when we had Monster of the Week and the gang's like, uh-oh, what do we do, gang? And Tomo's was like, hey, don't worry, I have an answer for this. Let's go to the library and check out a book. Right?
Yeah.
Literally,
right, yeah.
Half of all the problems in the show could have been explained to be like, hey, let's go to the library, right? And then of course you're thinking, oh, man, that seems like an easy way to answer. They already write it in. Like one of the biggest problems about it was all these magic swords that exist and how nobody knew anything about it.
Right.
Right? Literally, the easiest explanation, the records were lost. We were lost them. Big war against the Megiddo, Library of Alexandria, whatever, big space library we had, gone. No records. All right. There, explain it, right? That was one of the biggest problems. Was how every time, especially with Kuriyami, like when they start revealing all this stuff about Kuriyami, it's like, boy, how do you not write that down? Like,
Yeah.
that's like an important thing to write down about your stupid magic sword.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, if it
and then the universe just explains it. We lost the book.
Yeah.
Someone checked it out and never returned it.
And it isn't until fucking Yuri shows up, who is actually it literally is required by word. It's like if in order to learn how to make cheese, we had to fucking revive like the first person who milked a cow, like and be like, how did you do it? Great grandpappy, like. Just go back to fucking medieval... Like, we have to pull out a fucking medieval squire to goddamn figure out how the fuck anything works.
Yeah, and there's also the thing where it's just kind of like... They don't keep to the themes all that much, right? Like, there's this whole idea of, like, free will versus fate type of thing that they have going on, but that's barely explored or anything, right? It's like... Yeah. It's kind of talked. Well, not really talked about. It's shown visually, which I kind of appreciate looking back on it a bit. Where like Kento's like, oh, the future can't be changed, but then Tomo is actually changing the future, right? And at first he's like thinking, no, it can't be, right? But then he's like, oh no, he's actually changing the future, right? And so he chooses to believe in him once more, right? So that I kind of appreciate. But then there's also Storius, where he's like, oh, everything's all predetermined, and then it's just like, but he's again, his whole view on things, and his, like, that could have been explored throughout the whole series, or season, right? But it's only kind of like, he only kind of explains his motivations in the last 2 episodes, or something like that. And it really doesn't help at all. And then it's just like, everything that could have been explored is told to us through like a fucking 2-minute talking, and you just kind of fight. And it's just like, oh, this would have been interesting to see it. Like, maybe, again, if you had stories, if you wanted the stories to be the big bad, you could have had it so that, like, the way he influences the Master of Logos, thinking the future is predetermined and that the world's going to end regardless of whatever he does, right? Then he goes mad because of that. Then he's saying, well, we might as well just do it this way. And then, he through manipulating the Master of Logos, would manipulate Caliburn. Or Caliber, right? And that way, because the thing is, or maybe use Caliber as a way to, like, maybe the Master of Logos is like, oh, the future, we can probably still change the future, but as soon as Caliber comes in and telling him, I see a future where everything is lost, then it kind of confirms for it, and then you get the ball rolling from there, and then and then use that as a way to kind of show Story as also manipulating Caliber to his own ends, right? Yeah. Because previously you had it so that Daiichi was like, he used Caliber to kind of like, to kind of see why everything the way it was. Also, I'm very confused at the fact that Daiichi doesn't know about the whole future gimmick and how that didn't affect him too, No,
I think it did when he picked up the sword. After he did. I think they showed it.
It was in the spin-off when he picked. Yeah.
Yeah, when they showed.
He saw it.
I forget if that was the spin-off or I guess that was.
It was the spin-off. It was the Storm logo spin-off.
But I mean, that's another thing that could be.
The fact that there's so nothing except because they force you to like, hey, here's all of our stupid expanded media.
I mean, that's further proof to the fact that like it just wasn't handled well with divulging information, because they then had to create these side episodes in between, like not things that were happening afterwards, like we said with like 01 or any other Kamen Rider thing, where it's like, hey, here's some like afterwards like DVDs of like like for I think did the hyper battle stuff. The hyper battle stuff started with Kabuto, right? Because of hyper mode.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So they started calling them like these hyper battle like DVDs, and it was like, hey, these are like essentially like the Kamen Rider equivalent of like an OVA of like, hey, this is another story that takes place in the same world. And sometimes it was additive to the plot, sometimes it just diverged and was somebody else's story that didn't like have any effect on the canon, but it was like told you something interesting. These were like directly, if you didn't watch them, you missed out on the explanation.
Yeah.
Like also, not like a joke like thing that was gonna happen like fucking Zio, where it's like, haha, wouldn't it be funny if we had a Kamen Rider Tsukiyomi? Anyway, haha, there you go. But instead, this is like, no, you can't fucking figure out what the fuck is going, and you still might not figure out what's going on if you don't watch this.
Yeah, and like, and going back on the free will versus fate thing, it would have been a lot. It would have helped a lot to have a dynamic between Toma and Storius, you know, because
even Legio with that fucking Legio, like right? ham-fisted like rivalry for like a second.
Which happens shit. Like literally just like it just happens in an episode, and we're just kind of supposed to accept it, which happens a lot with the rest of the series.
It was clearly explained that Legio just straight up hates the Flame Swordsman for no unexplained reason.
It was more like,
Did you not watch the side media where he explains why he hates the Flame Swordsman so much?
It doesn't help that we're gonna get all the side media too, just to explain shit, and even then, it might even explain.
That's the problem. By the way, for the audience joke, it's never explained why Legio hates the Flame Swordsman. By the way, once again,
he's literally just pissed off he lost the battle, and then he just assumes a rivalry because of that. Like at least with Zuos and Rintaro, right? It at least makes sense. You know,
because it's at least that was a whole character arc for Rintaro to go through.
Yeah, and okay, so it's like Saber's not all bad, if only because I enjoyed some of the story arcs too. You know, well, mainly only two, and one of them was very short-lived, and like I wish we got like more time with it. Rintaro's arc from going from avenging his master and then kind of finding out what family means to him, and then like really coming on his own and becoming a master of the sword, the way his master never was actually really fucking cool as shit, right? Like that, like I don't think it was just me that was pretty much hype as shit for that, right? Because I love.
Rintaro had a really good arc. I mean, honestly, in terms of character development, he had a pretty good. There is some questions as to like why he stayed with the Sword of Logos for as long as he did, but it's like they did a good job of really going into his story was really well told, but it's for a character in like a series that's got so many other characters like fighting to tell their story, and that's great. Thanks.
Yeah, but
Well, okay. Before we go to, I want to ask you guys, who was Toma's villain throughout the entire series?
Who the fuck?
I would say who was his villain?
I've been thinking about it now. Like, who was he actually fighting throughout so he had Master of Logo's story as Daichi Dizaz and all those characters, right? But like, did he have a villain to fight throughout the entire series?
I would say that Storius is the villain of the series, but to say that he had one, because he didn't even interact with Storius until
like the very end.
After, but he had been fighting Caliber first, so. And it basically then he was fighting
Legio.
The show built it up or presented it like Caliber was the one running things, and the Rowdy Rough Boys were the fucking generals. But then it's like, once Caliber leaves, Storius takes over, basically. But he really actually doesn't take that much of, like, an aggressive, like, leadership position. He just kind of goes, fuck it, if you want to go get killed, go get killed. And then there's, at the same time, there's no implication, like you said, of, like, him influencing Master Logos. Like, there's no connection that's implied between
the other Rowdy Rough Boys
between the two of them
for his big plan.
Yeah. There's very little in terms of Toma interacting with a villain. Well, the most he ever really interacts is probably maybe the Master of Logos. Really, and even then, it's just kind of like I wish they did something more with Master of Logos being like, I'm just doing it just cause, right? I'm like, it doesn't help add to the themes or what or doing what Toma does, right?
The way I think of it is like, because literally we see the moment when Storius and Master Logos meet each other for the first time, because it's during like them bum rushing the fucking southern base, like during their little like the first insurrection. Like, because there's so many fucking times where people just bum rush these fucking bases.
Yeah, honestly.
And then, so it clearly wasn't, like, that, like, preordained of a plan to include the new Master Logos in his, like, Grandmaster, in Storius' like, big overarching plan. So, there were two parallel machinations happening. one from Master Logos trying to fuck over Storius and trying to fuck over Toma in the northern base and like steal all the books, and then also Storius going, I want those books, but I don't know, an opportunity to present itself eventually, and like it just like. Even though the own villains, like this series' own villains, like didn't have that much of a plan going forward, and it's so. And when you look back at it, it just feels so fucking apparent. You know, it's like like you kind of watch at a certain point, right, with some series, and especially for Kamen Rider, because with the exception of Decade, right, they're 40 to 50. They're like 45 to 50 episodes long.
Yeah.
So you can get through like the first 13 episodes and go, Jesus, I don't understand what the fuck is going on, but I hope we get to a point of explanation. And then maybe at like the 20th episode, you've got an answer to some of your questions, but then it's like, okay, well now I have new questions. And so many like things that seem fundamentally broken about this world and how it's set up. And so you go, okay, maybe. Sunk cost fallacy, like, maybe they'll fix this by the end. And it's like, all right, so we're on episode 42, and fuck Christ, I don't know how they're gonna fucking land this plane. And it doesn't land. This is a fucking plane crash. It's a soft crash. It's like a crash that where like the brakes didn't work on the wheels, so like there were definitely some deaths and like injuries, but it's in no way like a smooth landing like fucking Sully Sullenberger. Like this goose got stuck in my engine, but I still made it into the Hudson. Like it's all good.
It's oh god. There's also May that kind of annoys me too.
Such an underused, like, almost disrespected character.
Yeah, it's just like I actually do like May's character. She's a fun character. I know, like Austin, I remember you making like this stuck out in my mind for a while. Like you said that this was a character that was done before, the kind of quirky character type of thing.
Not even quirky, I would say. She's like the spacey airheaded character.
Right, but for my
right, she's a civilian character.
Yeah, before
right, because we had seasons where there was an organization, but we have the outside who is supposed to be for us as an audience surrogate to understand the story, right? Because you're gonna introduce like this big organization, like no one's gonna understand that shit. What the fuck's going on? I was like, what the fuck is this? Fuck is it? What's the TVA? Oh, what's that? What's this? Time travel variants? What? Kang the Conqueror? Who the fuck's that, right? Right, but it didn't help that Toma at the same time was also a character surrogate, the audience surrogate for us, because he also did help, and so at that point you had two different characters surrogate, but one of them can only be the real surrogate for the odds to follow on, the other one's like, hey yo, I'm just here for the ride.
Yeah.
Hey yo, you guys seen Owen Wilson? We're supposed to film Wedding Crasher 2 at some point.
Oh my god. It's just like I had like May's probably one of my or probably my favorite, like the favorite character for me, you know. But the thing is, it doesn't help that like they try to place some importance on her, but there's like it's not really felt or seen, like, especially with Bach, right? God, Bach, fucking the most shafted, one of the probably the shafted character.
Also, did have that her character personality was such a reverse from the main series tone, right? Like the series was presented of as super serious, like here's the big insurrection, we have to go kill God. God wants to kill everyone, but May's over here just like, hey yo, what time we going rollerblading tonight?
Yeah. Here's me and my fly swatter. By the way, at this point, though, William, did you finish Amazons?
Not yet. I'm still continuing on that.
Okay, how far are you gotten in Amazons? I
haven't gotten too much into it, honestly. I'm at like episode 5 right now.
Okay, so alright, so episode 5 of like the first season. Okay.
Yeah.
I just say that because, but you can, I feel like you can already see though when you look at his character in Amazons, and you look at his character in like, in Saber, and it's just like. Wow, you really, this is a good, like, it's a good actor and, like, does good shit and, like...
Yeah, it's just, like, he does so well. Like, I've seen what he was doing in Amazons, and he's like an integral character I can see at this point, right?
He plays an anti-hero role so well, and he's kind of in, like, for the 5 minutes that he's, like, the 20-minute movie, right, that he had in fucking where they introduced him. You get this idea of him being sort of in a similar character and stuff. But even when he comes back, he's just so... The plot is gone so, like, far away from, like, having time for another person with another fucking deep story. They can't spend any time on this character that actually has, like, legs to move on. Like, he's so much better of a character than, like, the fucking Wonder Twins. Like, to go into and talk about and have, like, screen time with than anybody else, like, that's, like, a tertiary character.
It's just, it's like those, like, with May and Bach, like, the thing is, okay, because here's the thing that I really wish was explored more too, right? Like, Yuri says that May is, like, the best example of humanity. And I can kind of see where he's getting at, if only because, like, during the whole, well, you know, basically during Kamen Rider Saber's Civil War arc, right? She did try to help out with Toma and Rintaro, right? Or, like, you know, because she freely goes between the two, and she tries to help them kind of talk and reconcile. And it's just like
she's a good person. She's like, there's nothing, I think, to your point about, like, May being your favorite character, I think there's nothing that May does, like, egregiously wrong. Like, she's spastic, but she's not hurting she's not hurting the story by doing that. Like, there's way other things happening that could be the issue.
Yeah, and the thing is, she is kind of integral to the plot, like especially when, like, well, again, I'm referring to, like, so, because the thing is, I like that she's also kind of, like, she's probably, like, along with Rintaro, she's probably one of the most developed characters, sort of, but the thing is, at least, like with Rintaro, she, like, a lot of that's not told us, it's shown, because the thing is, there were serious moments where even she's kind of, like, even her fucking mood is kind of toned down to kind of get get people together, and it was only until she was in danger that, like, Toma and Rintaro basically got set aside the differences and basically fought alongside each other again to help May out, right? And it was through that Rintaro kind of basically came back into the fold, and that was fucking fantastic, right? And then and, like, she helps out so much within the series too. Like, she helped out during when they invaded the bases too, right? And I wish she became a writer at that moment. Because she held the sword. I hate that she held the sword.
They really fucking teased us on that.
God, it's like, I'm like, you tease us with, like, they literally tease us with May for, like, becoming a Kamen Rider, and I wish she became a Kamen Rider at that moment, and she really grew more into the character. Because the thing is, she was helping out a lot by that point, right? And I'm like, I wish she, like, instead of helping indirectly, she became more directly involved. It would have been fucking fantastic, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's but she's important, right? And then by the end of it, but, like, with Bacht, and, like, there's a missed opportunity with May and Bacht, right? Because, like, again, Yuri's like, oh, yeah, you're, like, she's, like, the best example of humanity. Like, and I'm like, you know, within the show, I kind of agree with you, Yuri, because I've seen everything she's done beforehand, and I do kind of agree with you here. But the thing is, like, I wish there was more moments with Bacht. Like, because the thing is, Bacht kind of, like, he kind of does a turnaround, like, suddenly, at least to me, you know? Like, there's
I mean, there's a point where he, like, loosens up.
Yeah.
Where he stops being as, like, because when you can see it even in the moment where Yuri introduces May to him, and he's just, like, even before they start talking, he's just chilling. Like, standing, looking at the water. He's not just, like, going out and just fucking slaughtering people, right?
Yeah. And
so he's really not, I mean, he is a villain in a sense, but he's like, they with Yuri's backstory of him, it's presented sympathetically. Yeah. And then you can see these, like, they give these, like, small moments, because everything that you have to do in the show is, like, fucking picking rice with chopsticks, like grains of rice, just trying to, like, find the one good one, right? Okay. This was a good moment. Cool. You appropriately, like, displayed this man's character and, like, made us, like, oh, hey, we saw a moment of, like, vulnerability with him. Oh, he's not just, like, this fucking because they when Master Logos releases him, right? I think it's Ryoga who's like, "Oh, you're really bringing out that watchdog, like, or your fucking like wild dog or whatever." He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna let him loose. Yeah, here goes my bad boy." And then it's like, but then you see him come out, and it's like, yeah, he goes out and he's like fighting, but he's also just like, it's more that he just is done with humanity, and he's done like he's lost his faith. He has literally lost his faith in humanity, and he doesn't. It's not that he hates the world. He just hates like people because he's got his whole fucking family killed, or rather, his whole family got killed. He didn't get them killed. His whole family got killed due to a betrayal. That also we don't really go over who the fuck that other person was. Yeah, right.
He's just like it's just glossed over. It's a lot of things that happens in the show. Like his backstory is also
like that's we can't tell. We don't see us. We don't. There's no identifiable sword. He doesn't transform. All we see is there's this third dude in their like little trio, and then it's fucking fucking Bach's family dead on the ground and fucking flames all over the place. Like, and it doesn't really fucking tell us anything about. And maybe that was just a fucking. The thing is, right? Maybe that's an intentional thing that they left out so that they could build it up for the movie. Maybe they just fucking forgot. We don't know. This is a bad fucking, like... This is a poorly... I won't say this is a bad series outright, but it is a poorly handled, poorly written, poorly structured series. Are those all qualities that I would probably, like, objectively say makes a bad series? Probably, but I'm trying to be, like, fair to the fact that it's Kamen Rider, and it's not trying that hard to be good, but it's also you gotta do better than this.
Yeah, it's just like there's a lot of missed opportunities with that too. I wish like okay, just to kind of finish it.
Too many storylines happening with
the
show.
I know. Yeah,
they kept introducing too many storyline concepts, and at some point you'd be like, hey, maybe we should stop with all these stories. We keep all these stories like, I was like, this is actually go like who we have to focus on.
In that sense,
to the point where you're not forced to have character development for two series regulars to be introduced in a spin-off episode in a separate series.
Or to have character development be shit posting on social media. Because I was going to say, someone who like, you know, clearly it's not the fucking character's choice to goddamn like. It's not like the actor went, I don't want to be here. But, like, the fact that they just, like, took Disaster out for, like, 20 fucking episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, and he just, like, shitpost on social media and then came back.
Showed you that, William?
No, I don't know about this.
Okay, so do you remember how they introduced Disaster, right? Yeah. And we like, oh, this is an interesting character. What's his deal, right? And then he disappears for, like, 20 episodes?
Yeah,
Right, okay, so here's the thing. Every week, so after every week on Kamen Rider Saber aired, right, from during his disappearance, he would make a social media post of him just in various locations on set, like, hey, yo, what's up? Hey, yo, what's up? Here I am, Disaster. I'm at the water.
On the Kamen Rider, like Saber, like, official, like, Instagram and, like, Twitter and shit.
Twitter account, yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Like he was literally
and it was like
on Twitter.
That's almost as bad as Setchan and fucking. I mean, you don't know. Well, you kind of know. But
Tariq is well informed about the Zenkai.
Yeah, in Zenkaiju, it feels like that, but it feels it feels a lot like that actually. Just. It's a whole lot of the whole thing's a mess production wise.
Yeah, it's really.
But it's just like I see a lot of good in this show too, which is what's frustrating.
That's a lot of good concept, but the problem is there's a lot of good themes. But the problem is they were like, don't know what we're doing. All right. So this is an actual screen. This is not a cosplayer doing a cosplay. All right, this is an official image that Toei put out.
Oh my god. Oh god. Also, We never really learned about what his deal is. That's probably gonna be another like spinoff too. Oh my god, he's
Yeah.
He was literally shitposting every week until they brought him back onto the show.
That's actually kind of funny, but like I like it would be nice if I could appreciate it if the show was good, you know. It just makes me sad. It just kind of makes me a little sad. Like I chuckle and I do appreciate it, but I'm a little sad at this.
There's a lot. I'm going through these again. They're all fucking good. They're all fucking good.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Good! I found a Twitter thread. Someone was he was actually writing comments every week. It wasn't just him posting screenshots.
Oh really?
Oh wow, this is all in universe. He was in universe shit posting. Holy shit! Oh wow, this is way. Oh, I just thought it was just fun behind the scenes production, right? No, he was literally shit posting on Twitter. Holy shit, this is way better.
Oh,
hello, humans, I'm disaster. The warmth of the sun and the freezing breeze is coming. It's starting to smell a little like spring. It's not a bad idea to take a nap on a day today, right? I'm so bored. Holy shit.
That's actually pretty fun. I like this a lot. This is actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah. No, that's the thing is like, he just fucking dipped out, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like...
and then the series was like, remember Disaster? Should probably reintroduce him within the series. Like his character was so interesting. Like I was trying to figure out what his deal was, right? Because I think even early on we all had that they were like, was this a previous swordsman who like Icarus flew too close to the sun?
Yeah, I've got to say, I was looking back, like going into the wiki's like description of like Disaster's backstory, and I was like, I mean, I guess that's on us because that was just fucking conjecture. But it's still, I guess, okay just with how they handled it, because essentially they do explain him when they get to Charybdis, and they're like, you really want to make another Disaster? You really want to, do we really want to go through this again, Stories? Like, the other two are like, Stories, please. Please, not again.
Yeah.
We can't do another one. Like, but it's just, it's so he's such a weird character, you know. He's such a weird character, but I would say he's like the almost, I'd say, like a counterpart to May of like the on the bad guy side of, he doesn't do anything like offensively wrong.
We joked about this. He's Venom. He's literally Venom. I think he's not Venom. He's the symbiote.
Yeah, he's a symbiote. Yeah. I mean, we also because his character was so mysterious. We also mentioned that he was basically Xehanort. He was Xehanorting everybody. Although then that turns out to be, not really.
Yeah, then the real Xehanort was fucking goddamn Storius and Master Logos and shit.
It's just like I really like the whole Ren Disaster storyline that they had. Even though it kind of happens at the end and like kind of comes out of nowhere. Yeah, it was still pretty.
I mean, it was honestly the best character development for Ren.
Yeah.
Who right off the bat we immediately fucking hated, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like, but then it was like the best character development for Ren happened because of Disaster.
Yeah.
And we got these moments at the end where it just turned into like this existentialism like question between Disaster and Ren, and like figuring out your place in the world, and like not trying to better yourself, like not saying that, but knowing like, listen, sometimes you're not gonna be like, you're not the main character. Sometimes it's not your story to like fucking throw yourself in and like try to just jump in and tell everyone that you're the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, I want to be the best. Like, sometimes you just need to chill and like go, you know what? I'm doing my own thing. They're doing their thing. We can both live there's enough space for both of us.
That does, now that I think on it, those tweets actually just they really feel bittersweet now because of his fucking arc too. Of what happened to him at the end.
He just fucking goes and he's like, I don't need to fight if I don't want to. Like, I'll fight with. Hey, when you guys get strong, fine. But otherwise, this is a fucking waste of my time.
Yeah, it's like underutilized characters is a lot. It happens a lot through here. God, especially with Bach too. Again, like I know I'm going back to it, but like. He appears, he had the sudden turnaround. Again, I still wish, like, May and them had a proper talk. Also, I wish, like, May approached, like, Bach on her own. Like, maybe, like, because, again, he was watching, like, looking at the ocean. I wish, like, she just happened to pop by him and they had a talk.
Yeah, well, to be fair, she had a lot of luck of just randomly finding fucking important characters on the side of the road being homeless. Like Luna.
Yeah.
Hey, Japan! I know there's a pandemic, but maybe you can not like leave unattended children like off in the park, just like sitting by themselves alone in what kind of looks like, when we think about like some of the weird implications with Luna, a wedding dress. Like, don't just like leave little children like dressed in white, like just fucking like alone on the ground, like just sitting there unattended.
That also reminds me, Luna's also very underutilized too. You know?
Well, the thing is,
once again, saying, like, I don't know her character.
Yeah, we never get.
But I feel like she's so meaningless. Like we get like she's a driving force for Toma, but but the problem is Toma doesn't even care about it until it comes. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that girl.
Yeah.
I mean,
even though we see, I wanted to go back in the series and see how many times they flashed back to the point where Luna is ripped from Toma's hand and sucked into the fucking portal. But I chose life instead. Because it happens in so many...
they only filmed like one day with the actress for some reason.
I'm just saying that flashback must have happened at least 60% of the series.
It happened a lot.
It had to have been at least 2/3 of the episodes of the series.
There was no scenes with Luna beforehand. There was only ever, here's them reading a book in the park. Here's Luna being ripped apart into a black hole of empty void. Nothingness. Like, those are the only two scenes that you ever had with Luna. Because, once again, going to the fact that, hey, pandemic's still going on. Yeah. Japan, child actress. Probably don't bring a child actress when you're still in a state of emergency.
Yeah.
And everything.
And even in places like here where you can get a fucking vaccine, like, where a good number of people, I won't say a majority of people, because god fucking damn it, people, stop taking fucking horse tranks.
Hey man, I heard apparently
Luna's character was so underutilized. Like she's like, sorry, I assume we're just going through random characters at this point.
We're going through the underutilized.
Yeah, we're just dealing with the things that got.
Yeah, so you're supposed to get that little there's supposed to be like this important bond between the friends, between her, Kento, and Kento and Tomo, but the relationship was just so meaningless. I never felt like these characters were friends. Like Kento and Toma, yeah, they probably could have been childhood friends, going to elementary school or some shit. But Luna was just a kid that showed up one day like, hey, yo, what's up? Hi, I'm Luna.
Well, let's also, here's the thing, right? Is oh god. So this isn't even like an like underutilized character thing, but this is something that I just started like that the oh god. So we're gonna do Revice after this, but there's so many things in Revice that I watched, and I went
or watch a Revice review now, and I went gonna be uploaded after.
I'm just saying, and I went, oh, thank you, a fucking like goddamn character. I know so much more about the main character of Revice in the first episode than I ever knew about Toma.
Yeah,
I have honestly. There's no implication about where Toma sleeps, who his family is, if he has any. Like, there's
he should have a
there's
family
no
piece.
of like
there's no he likes to write books and he has a bookstore.
We know that he writes books and he has a bookstore, but I'm just saying but that doesn't say anything about why his backstory is him sitting in a park and like hanging out with Kento reading books and then like Luna showing up. Like, none of that, like, there's no like, my parents were writers, my parents owned a bookstore, I wasn't, like, even if he doesn't have parents, I was an orphan and all I had to support me were books, and going into the world that they presented me in my
They
imagination.
don't say a
There's-
lot on his love of books. Yeah, I will agree with that.
Real quick, Tariq. I don't know if you were actually ever gonna watch an episode, but in episodes of Parahero, everything about the character is developed.
Yes.
within
Oh
that
my god, it
episode.
was so. It's actually really good what they did in just that one episode.
Oh,
It's
wow.
I don't know if you
fantastic. I get a
I
sense
I mean,
of
I'm
this.
probably
character.
going to watch
You know.
that after this, just honestly.
No,
like,
honestly, I
'cause-
will say do it. Even if we never even if we never do a
Get
review
to
on
it
it
on the channel.
Yeah, if we never, I'm gonna watch the rest of the episodes because of how much I like episode 1.
That's an impressive. I can respect that. I'm just fucking blown away by the fact that they made a goddamn non-Super Sentai, non-Kamen Rider, non-Ultraman tokusatsu in the vein of like Space Sheriff and fucking like VR Troopers and all that shit. And it's about a man that's basically half Paralympics wheelchair because they wanted to make a Paralympics tokusatsu. Like it's there's just so many things to fucking like analyze in that. But yeah, back to this fucking garbage fire that continued to burn and never get doused.
Yeah. So back to what we were saying about Luna. Like Luna's character was supposed to sound, but boy, her character was so fucking. She only ever needed to. She only existed to move the plot forward.
Yeah, and it doesn't.
Like she had no other purpose.
There's also like the
going back to what I was saying. Like I never felt that her friendship with Toma and Kento was. I can believe Toma and Kento, all right. Like at least they had their friendship set up for a little bit, right? Right. But then before Luna came in, but also Luna goes, "Hey, yo, what's up? Hey, I'm Luna. Let's be friends and everything." Why did you? Hey, I see you guys. I see one of you don't have parents, and the other one's parent is part of a secret sword organization who wields a PTSD sword. I think the three of us are gonna be great friends.
A pre-TSD sword. I'm patent pending on pre-TSD.
Oh god, but it's just.
Also,
it's like
also
Luna.
don't like the fact that she was a child throughout the rest of the series, and then all of a sudden she aged
That
up.
pissed
No,
me
I
off.
mean,
really
so
fucking
much.
weird.
That pissed me
That
off
was
so
really weird.
much.
That really should have been like
She really
the minute
should've-
that she came back.
She should have been an adult by that point.
Like
you know?
they could have warped her up. They could have like let her like they could have. I'm not saying that she couldn't have come back initially as a child, but she should have become an adult way fucking sooner than she did. Like the first episode, really, or whatever, or after fucking Master Logos' first failed attempt at like doing the whole summoning ritual, she should have been a fucking adult.
I still don't
Like-
get the vibe between Luna and Toma either, man. That's still like, I mean, especially with like the whole when she was a child throughout most of it. I'm like, this is weird. This is a little weird.
Hey,
It's giving me Tomorrowland vibes.
Wait, are you not like Master Logos and you have a child-sized bed ready at any moment?
oh god! Why did I just come back? Oh,
Fuck.
I don't like that.
Not
you
only
just gave me
that, not only
connection,
that,
Austin.
hold on. But
I don't
also,
like
not only
that's
that,
a
he
thing.
just, it wasn't even like a cot, right? He showed up to this park. This is a bad park, right? Don't go to this park. If you live in Japan, bad things happen in this park. But like, imagine you're just like living your life, and a fucking like a goddamn like epic battle is going on. You're like, whoa, what the fuck is happening here? And then like a fucking glowing circle shows up, and a tree full of swords happen. The most unsettling thing to me would be the like fully bedpost, like four-legged bed that just showed up out of nowhere and has like a sleeping like 8-year-old on it. Like, I should be calling the police.
I still don't.
It had bed sheets and pillows and everything.
Yeah.
Now that I remember it, that bed.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a random bed. You just like having like a random bed in storage, right? Like from when you were a kid, now your parents just kept it.
Man
like,
was.
Fuck it, we might need this bed again one day. Like, but this bed was fully furnished and everything.
That man was strangely
ready.
That man was strangely ready for
that
it.
man was
like
ready for it. That man was like, yeah. I got this.
I don't like that you had to point that out to me.
The second Master Logo's new. That child is gonna appear one day, and as soon as that child shows up, I'll have the band ready.
Listen. Sometimes you know you don't want to go through life and not have a Pokeball ready to capture a Pokemon. Sometimes you don't want to go through life and not have a fully furnished bed to capture a small girl. Apparently, I say facetiously, and god damn it, that's please no. I'm not saying that this is a real thing. Like, don't attribute that quote to me like as a real thing. Mm-hmm. But like, that's Master Logos. That's Master Logos in a nutshell.
Yeah.
God,
right.
You know,
but Luna's character is just so jarring, is what I'm trying to say. Within this series,
we only
she made they made her feel like she was a big deal. But she doesn't become a big deal until the plot comes in, and by the end of it, she's like, all right, cool, you became a sword. Sure.
Oh, wait, was that? Yeah. I forgot.
You became the...
Yeah.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
She became the Wonder Almighty book, and I'm like, sure. Okay.
No,
I guess she did. No, she did. Because she basically went... She jumped in, kickstarted the ritual again, and then came back down as a new book because they had lost the power of all their other books. That is essentially what she was trying to do. She basically jumped in to become... Fuck. I guess that makes more sense than the fucking shit they had before, but still not, like, good.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it's like, okay, so Luna's position or powers is just ambiguous at best. I don't know what she can or cannot do. Like, can she do what's
not much?
And also,
not much.
Also, I don't understand her relation to Wonderworld either, right? Because the thing is, there was the previous Sophia, right? So how is Luna still a thing after Sophia Prime just scattered herself as a book or whatever, right? I'm still confused by that. And Luna's weird. I don't get it. But like, it's just like she's only relevant when the plot wants to make her relevant. And it's
100%.
Yeah, and it's just like, what's the point? And it's like, I wish I cared about her as a character. The only times we only get a hint of what her character is when she's talking to like Storius, when she's like, hey, like even I knew that there would be an end to this, but Tomo is like strangely an enigma, and that's why I approached him to begin with.
She's one of the main plot device of the Kamen Rider Super Sentai movie. I just remembered that.
Oh, right.
Jesus Christ.
Oh God, we got to watch and talk about that too. I'm hoping it's gonna be
whatever the fuck that, because I don't know when the fuck that. I just remember that she's like one of the that's like in the Kamen Rider Super Sentai crossover movie. That's when she becomes an adult. She doesn't become an adult in the TV show. That's when we actually see her as an adult in that. Wait.
But what happened? But what about what happened within the TV show?
Hey, shut the fuck up. Watch the movie.
We literally saw her grow up. Wait, okay, so here's the way you said it. In the episode when she's child and then she becomes adult, are you telling me in between that time there was a whole movie that happened?
Yes. That she became an adult.
I mean, sure.
In the movie,
that makes sense.
In the movie, she was a child. She became an adult. And then when the TV show restarted again, after that movie takes place, she becomes a child again, and then she becomes an adult again, alright?
God, I don't understand.
It's really fucking... Well, look, Luna character's bad, alright? That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, God. Yeah. And also, underutilized characters. Also, this kind of pisses me off, especially what happens within the bonus issue.
Are we talking about the Wonder Twins? Well, there's nothing to talk about the Wonder Twins, alright?
Hold on, I'm getting a call.
Okay. So I'm just gonna quickly go on my rant about the Wonder Twins.
Yeah.
They just exist, and that's it.
Yeah.
They're lucky they have a job by the end of the series.
Oh, yeah.
After getting a job from the place that they created a hostile work environment in, the fact that they got hired back is a blessing, and they got a 401k, dental, and everything back. That's an amazement for them.
You mean like a number of Republican senators and congressmen that are fucking still in goddamn Congress despite January 6th? Like, I hate to bring it back to January 6th for the umpteenth time in this fucking podcast. First of all, we live in the fucking goddamn D.C. area, and that shit happened in real time for us. Second of all, fucking goddamn, that's actually like the thing, right? Is like that's essentially the oh god, that's essentially like Mitch McConnell, Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, all these motherfuckers, like surviving the insurrection and then being like, oh, I don't know how this happened. How could they have ever? How could there have ever been
the photos of me hiding in here?
How could there have? I don't know how this could have happened. Where did these embers come from? I don't know why people started to do it. You should know. You should understand.
Yeah. Ryoga's character did not exist throughout the show. He was just pretty much one. Rika Shindai was the biggest tragedy of the show.
God, she had some promise at the beginning.
I mean, it was
she was like an actual character before they developed her into a brocon.
At least we were right. Like, I mean, technically, we can say that this series, that Saber did better than some Kamen Riders because technically they had 2 female Kamen Riders, by which we had Sabella or Sabla, and then eventually in the last 3 episodes we had Sophia turn into Caliber.
Wait, hasn't not had 2 female Kamen Riders within their series? Let me think about that real quick.
That there's been another series that has had 2 female Kamen Riders?
Yeah, that's not fake. I'm actually thinking about this real hard right now. That does not appear in a spin-off media.
I'm trying to... Yeah, now that you say it. Because there's Gaim, that's 1. Zio, and that's 1. There was one in Ryuki, but that might have also been 1.
No, she only appeared in a movie.
Oh, was it? Doesn't. Okay.
Yeah.
There was none in Decade. There was none. No, that's not true. Actually, there was Kiva's son or daughter. In Decade.
But she becomes Kivala in the movie. She doesn't become in the main. I'm talking about just the main series run, right? Was there an instance of any other time of 2 female Kamen Riders within the main series? Because I'm thinking about this real hard right now. I don't think.
Oh yes, there was. X8. Technically. X8. Between X8 Poppy and M.
M.
The stupid girl.
Oh, the girl. That's right. The fangirl.
Yeah, well, not the fangirl. The fucking angsty girl that is angry at M. Oh no, she was N. Emu was M. And that was the whole thing, that she just had a fucking gamer rivalry with him. And that's why she fucking joins it. Or that's why she starts playing the fucking Kamen Rider Chronos game. But
but she was more of her rider was like a side rider, wasn't a real.
Well, it was a base level rider, but she was still a main character that became a rider, and she did try to do things in there. So I know that it's not a specific Kamen Rider, but it's not specifically her Kamen Rider form. But to be fair, neither is Caliber for Sophia.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's and also that character was more developed than Sophia, which is saying so much. It's not good. It's not good that that's a better character than fucking Sophia. But there have been. God, that's really bad though when I really think about it. Besides X8, definitely wasn't in fucking O's, definitely wasn't in fucking Forze. Especially once you say outside of other in the mainline story, not movies or side stories. Movies, because movies there could be some stuff.
Yeah.
Because we even saw that in the Spectre cross.
Inside you, they let anyone become a Kamen Rider.
Yeah, because we even saw that in the Spectre crossover, where it's oh, cool, the Ghost Spectre crossovers, but oh, cool, Spectre's sister became a Kamen Rider, cool. But that's the first. Well, no, I think one of the
Ghost had a female Kamen Rider. Yeah. She was the grunt level Kamen Rider.
Yeah. And then. Even in 01, technically there's 02 with Iz, but only in the movie.
Boy, Hey, look, representation, all right?
That's not true. That's not true, actually. No.
What?
Even though, well, it depends, because I think that they list Naki as like genderqueer, or at least like non-binary. But if Naki isn't listed as that, then that would technically make 2.
I'm pretty sure Naki, even within 0, 1 can't 0 is considered non-binary.
Okay.
I know the act. Boy, what is the correct?
Wait. Well, no. I mean, it would be the. I mean, I feel like people in both genders use the term actor, so I would say that's accurate.
Okay. Because I know the actor for Naki is non-binary.
I didn't know that, actually. That the actor. See, that's the funny thing, right? I think there's been series with queer. You know what? Hey, points to Kamen Rider for having the amount of, I guess, queer characters and non-binary characters that they have, but like,
hey, they're starting somewhere. Look,
they're doing something, I guess.
All right, next character. All right, who's next? Do we want to?
Who else is left? I feel like we've burned this fucking bridge to the ground, because it's just.
I mean, if you want to mention
bad characters, we can talk about the good points now.
I think we have been talking about the good points, sort of.
I think we would try every time we tried to bring up a good point. Every time we tried to bring up a good point, we had to go, God damn it, what the fuck happened?
The thing is, I was trying to do that with, like, May and, like, Rintaro's arc and Ren and Disaster arc, but even then, that's kind of, like, underscored by everything else that's going on.
Yeah, and it's also, even with those arcs, we're talking about them in the context of, God, this was so fucking bad, but this part was kind of okay, this was good, there was something there. Like this was a series of
characters. This was a series of how Yuri was one of the best characters.
Oh my God!
Even though at the beginning we weren't sure what Tassel's deal was, ended up being a great character.
I will. Okay, let's take a second, because I think we really went on a journey with Tassel, because from the beginning, it was like, what the fuck is Tassel? What is going on here? And I think we
weren't sure what Tassel's role was within the series, right?
But I'm just saying, forget Tassel's role in the series as a character design. Part of, I think, the reason why I had to jump in here by, like, the 3rd episode was, I don't know what's happening, but I specifically don't know what's happening with this fucking Tassel person, and I don't know how to tell people. Like, how can I talk to people that aren't there's no way I can talk to people that aren't watching this shit and, like, try to explain, like, what is happening.
Hey, do you want to bring Molly in here and explain her the character of Tassel?
I don't think we need to do that, right now. But the point is that it was definitely getting to a point where it was like, I am, I get up earlier on Sundays than her, and I wake up and I start watching, and I, like, pull up, maybe I'll play some Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, whatever, play some on my Switch. I'll pull up the week's Shonen Jump, read through the manga. Oh, cool, the new episode of the Kamen Rider, whatever Kamen Rider series is up, it's Sunday, whatever. And then I'd watch it, and then I'd watch Saber, and then I'd close the window, I'd turn off the computer, and then I'd walk back to the bed and lay down in bed and go, I don't know what I just watched. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to try to explain this to you, and I need you to just listen, because I'm scared. Because I don't understand what the fuck is going on. I don't know what's happening, and I don't know why it's happening, and it's very strange. Tassel was such a, to me, was such a divisive character at the beginning. Something that I just absolutely could not accept as, for all of the seriousness that they were trying to express with this series, and all of the, with all of this other shit going on that was being brought up in every episode, I could not handle, the whiplash between, Tassel's openings and the rest of the stuff going on in the show. Little did I know that the minute I lost Tassel, right, it honestly took away my enjoyment of the show, because Tassel Tassel's like play-by-play of the episode before were actually so like so much more comprehensive than the show itself, and like it's said and like presented in such a way that was like just as fucking ridiculous as the show. Like there was no like the amount of time that it took to realize that this series cannot be taken like you can't look at Saber in a serious lens. You can't look at like if you look at it in a critical viewpoint, you're just going to be upset.
Yeah, honestly.
But Tassel's like breakdown of stuff was the perfect sort of like warm up to what you were about to go through with Saber. And it made it almost like not a comedy, but it added some humor to, or some brevity to whatever the fuck you were about to go through. Some or levity, whatever. Point is, like, it made things lighter. It made it feel less like you were being fucking... Because he had openings and then he had endings where you go, uh-oh, I wonder what'll happen next week. That seems bad. And it was like, that's fine. That's actually fine. That's actually fine considering the way that things were going. And it was... And I honestly, I regret how much I... Like... How viscerally I reacted to, like... Tassel's inclusion and stuff, and like talking and like everything, like everything that he showed up with. Like Tassel turns out Tassel does not have a bunch of. Let me correct the timeline. Tassel does not have a bunch of children locked away under his floorboards. He does not have any hard drives that he needs to burn. Tassel has a fucking. He has a non-profit that's used for orphan children of book that live inside books. And fucking like is picking up trash on the weekends of his own free will, not because of community service like Drake Bell. Like he is out there fucking like helping the community.
Yeah. It turns out Tassel isn't the one with a child's side bed fully furnished that he keeps. Indeed.
Yeah. It turns out out of all the characters in this series that would show up with a bed for a child and be the main villain, it is not the man in just the most outlandish, loud clothes with a very obvious green wig and like a top hat and shit.
Oh god.
Like,
but
he was, you know, God. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say for this show other than like if we had to like, okay, I guess. I don't know how you guys want to do it, but do you want to just do like a ranking out of 10? Like personally?
I mean, that's what we kind of did for Kamen Rider, so I guess it stands to reason that we would do that here. Because I know it, like, with Kamen Rider, I did give it the benefit of the doubt with only because of the pandemic. Because the thing is, it was in production before the pandemic, and when the pandemic hit, it very clearly did affect its production. And then, you know, things were lost because of it. And here, though, by this point, I'm assuming they had a handle on things on how they would do production.
Yeah.
I have things
to. The first few episodes was when they were still pandemic heavy.
I have
that weird CGI work. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Bikes. Remember that?
Oh god, the bikes are like
has a fucking ATV apparently with a machine gun on it.
Yeah, and it's shown at the end credits of every fucking like episode, and it's used like. Once? I don't know.
Within like the first 3 episodes that they forgot about it.
Okay. All right. I will. Hold on. Let me. Just because you brought that up, before we get to like actually just giving rating, the reason it's Kamen Rider, Masked Rider, right, is because like the original character of Kamen Rider gets transformed. And he's able to, like, transform between, like, his human form and his Kamen Rider form. And he was also, like, a motor biker, I guess. Is that the right way to... Yeah, like a motorbike enthusiast. And
So he was just like Japanese Spider-Man. All right, cool.
Yeah, clearly. And so when he
Hey, makes you feel it. Episode 1 of Kamen Rider is legally English sub on the Toei Tokusatsu channel, alright? You can watch it legally there. Unlike the Gundam YouTube channel where you cannot watch Gundam Built episode 1 English sub.
You know what, Austin? I'll do you one better. On Shout Factory TV on their website, they have the whole season of Kamen Rider, the original.
Really?
They do. They literally do.
Also, boy, how is Toei so bad at this shit?
Also, like, Tariq, like, on Japanese Spider-Man, his whole thing when he's not Spider-Man...
you were specifically talking about Japanese Spider-Man. I could tell you stuff about... I could tell you stuff about Japanese Spider-Man.
Oh, God. I'm in the
I know
watching,
Japanese.
I'm in the middle of watching it right now.
I know about Supaida, man.
Oh, shit, wow. The entire series is fully sub on Shout Factory, holy shit.
Yeah, and it's just... yeah,
it's been over for like a year. Jesus Christ.
It's fucking amazing. It's where I watched Jetman, man. It was fucking fantastic. But, like...
hey, look, you keep bringing up Jetman. I think you need to move on from that.
No,
right?
I'm never moving on. Jetman was one of the greatest tokusatsu shows I've ever seen, okay? It's literally the standard I'm gonna set for tokusatsu.
Yeah, wait, what the fuck? Going on. Did they just take... Oh my god, they took down all the fucking... All the Gundam Online Expo shit is gone for... Why the fuck did they... What the fuck is going on?
That's why we had that whole talk.
Okay, alright, I'm gonna bring us back into ranking.
So, Tassel was a character, the fights at the beginning, then we grew on him, and he was...
Tassel was...
Like me, he ended up being... Yeah, because the problem was, like, the reason why May and Tassel worked so great, because the show kept taking itself too damn seriously for anyone to care about, like... Right?
Oh,
the season was supposed to be a dark, was supposed to be like a dark, edgy show, like Amazon's or like a pseudo dark with like dark themes. But that was, but then you had May and Tatsu who were always there to get the audience. I was like, okay, hey, don't worry, kids. No one really died. Even though Toma might be badly injured, we're gonna put some band-aids on him, and next week he'll be back.
Yeah. It really helps because they do bring some levity and some lightheartedness to the show. So I think if we do want to make any other points before we get into a ranking, do we want to talk about the ending? I think I had all
my points.
Do we want to talk about the ending?
Hold on. One of my final points. This suit, I like this season's suits. All right, I forgot about that. That's one thing I like. Cool. I think this suit has some of the best. They were fine. They were perfect.
They were perfectly well designed.
This definitely had one of the
there's something that could be said.
Design. There's
something that could be said about like maybe like Psycho's like what was it ex swordsman form, but it's like the reason it was so like color like so uncolor coordinated is because it was supposed to be based off of like American comics and like
it's explained. Like, it made sense. Explained it.
It made sense for why it was the way it was.
I guess I don't know if I really want to talk about it, but we can talk about the ending and then we can go into the ranking system or the ranking we get for the series.
Sure. Let's let William talk about it since we talked about it by ourselves in the last episode.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep this short, but goddamn, did they fucking drop the ball with the ending? Because good lord, they literally just gave up on anything making sense by that point. Because the one thing that I can only really appreciate with the ending is Primitive Dragon kind of coming back. If only because
you're talking about the not the epilogue episode, the
okay, well the epilogue too, but we're leading up into it, right? Because that whole thing is technically an ending, right? But
I mean, look, regardless of whether you look at the last episode, 47, or the quote-unquote epilogue episode, either way, Rintaro never got to get his cream pie.
Oh god, I don't like how they. I really don't like how they treated Rintaro in the fucking bonus issue either. That was really kind of like I liked Rintaro as a character, and what they did with him in the bonus issue just felt like a disservice to him, you know. Considering everything that he just went through, I'm like, just like fucking.
Not one scene where we got to see that man enjoy it in Claire.
And it's just like, it is also with May. It's also the thing with May where I'm like, May, you know what this means. You're like, as much as they treat you as an airhead within the show, I know you're not a total airhead. You know what he's asking you for, and it's like, I don't like how they supposedly give you an answer on the shit. Like, okay, because there's also that thing where like apparently like I don't remember his name for the life of me. All I really know him is as Reika's brother. But apparently,
oh, you mean Ryoga? Oh yeah. How he threw in his
apparently he's also trying to cuck fucking Rentaro.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's the fucking point to throw this in at the moment? Especially when you apparently give us the answer that apparently, like, that Rintaro and May get together anyway through their fucking clothes matching together, right? I'm like, but, like, at least give us, like, a heartfelt confession and finally bring a wonderful conclusion to the I guess, the romantic tension between the two. Because there is something there, even though they didn't really focus on it.
No, because they established it, too. It was the worst part earlier in the series.
Yeah, because there was the whole thing where he's like, oh, yeah, I want to tell you something, but after this whole thing's over, right? And like,
yeah, or we literally had scenes of them together doing stuff too.
Yeah, honestly, I'm like, where is that? Where is that moment where they finally have a heart to heart and they finally like establish what they mean to each other, and they don't fucking do it. Like, don't do it just through the fucking close of throwing Ryoga as being apparently a rival to fucking Rintaro, but it's fucking unneeded, and it's just, I don't need this. It's unneeded conflict within the end of the goddamn show. It would have been fine if it was before, but now, of all times, are you fucking kidding me? It's so stupid. Don't waste my fucking time. That whole bullshit should have been between the two of them, because everyone else is fucking finished, but those two aren't finished with that.
Oh, the police are coming. There's some kind of helicopters flying over.
Oh my god.
To attack me for that.
Oh god.
I gotta say, William, the other thing that I appreciate is the fact that there's someone else that has the same fucking energy as me of just being fucking infuriated at this shit. God, because it's absolutely fucking insane. No, it's fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. The audacity that they have to keep trying to make things happen and then not have them happen is fucking wild. It's a crazy like, get this fucking, because it's the same writer as fucking Ghost, right, Austin?
Yeah.
Or at least partially, like, director.
Yeah.
Get this man some help. Like, this man needs fucking, like, therapy. Like, I don't know what's happening. Like, get him on some ADHD meds. Like, get his fucking thoughts focused, because he's doing too much. Like, Jesus Christ.
It's just
right.
It's just like, okay. And to kind of cap it off, and I guess I don't really want to talk about the ending of 47 because that's just like that's terrible. They just didn't give a shit at this point.
It didn't make any sense. They had Primitive Dragon show up and Mary Poppins Toma out, and then they just like super glossed over like how everything solved itself because they really didn't explain that at all.
Yeah,
there's no fucking reason for why things got better. There's no explained reason for that.
Yeah, because you had the whole thing where Toma is like in the middle of like darkness or whatever. And
everyone was starting to disintegrate, and then it's like the thoughts and feelings of every fucking
great segment. We had a good time with that segment.
Where it was like, oh hey, I guess we could have like tried to submit ourselves as another person to react to this because it's all fucking crowdsourced shit from people all over the world, and it was like, really? Because I would have loved to have been a 28-year-old black man just going, you can do it, Toma, and just like and have them try to explain that shit.
It's just like they try to have a Digimon moment, right? But it's not even.
Jesus fucking Christ! God damn it! God damn it! God damn it! God damn it!
The thing is, they try to have a Digimon moment,
but
it doesn't make sense. And then afterwards,
outnumbered.
Because here's the thing.
Outnumbered. It's not quite Digimon, but it's similar. But
it's similar. But the thing is, they try to have it so May is on the forum. And I'm like, who in the fucking like when the world's ending? Who's gonna be on the computer?
Wait, hold on.
I'm gonna type in something in the forum.
Here.
My favorite stories and shit.
Answer this, William. What the fuck do you think May was doing on the computer because Austin and I are fucking torn on what the fuck was happening.
Very clearly she was starting End of the World form, okay? Where she is like, because the thing is, apparently she reads the story that Tomo wrote, but apparently it's confirmed in the bonus issue, it's fucking unfinished as shit. So she's just writing down, what's your fucking favorite story? And that's why the whole thing happens where they have the Digimon moment. Like, oh, my favorite story is this and this and this, right?
Oh, okay. But there's the kid that just says that he wants to be a good kicker in soccer.
Yeah, I know. Look, man, they don't even give a shit at this point. They're just using whatever force they can get. Okay,
so here's my point. Because the two avenues that Austin and I went through were either May is uploading Toma's story, right? She's transcribing it. That was my take. Was that she was transcribing it, and people just took that as open forum to fucking share their stories. Or it was May asking the children of the world for help.
Okay, because the thing is, literally with the time that she had, she could not have like posted the story that Toma wrote.
No.
Yeah.
So literally, it's probably. We need to literally discuss about this. She could have just went on her fucking phone or an iPad and done this exact. She did not have to go to her office building to do this.
Like the thing is, and like you had that whole Digimon moment. It's like all black, and then apparently the world is remade somehow, and apparently Wonderworld is too, and it makes no fucking sense. It even makes less sense how Toma is able to come back into the real world, because there was that whole thing where it's like, oh yeah, Toma has to go into the Wonderworld in order for the world to be, in order for everything to be saved. But like him coming back makes no sense whatsoever, because by the rules that they set, which they fucking broke, is that like Toma needs to stay in Wonderworld to be its guardian and to
like
wield
Tassel.
power. Yeah, like Tassel, so that everything is fine. But apparently he can just leave whenever the fuck he wants, and then apparently he can go be
unfucking apparently. Tassel got cheated.
Yeah, you guys can keep going. I'm gonna go grab food for a sec.
Yeah, okay.
So apparently Tassel should have read his contract more clearly.
Yeah, I'm just
apparently Toma read that contract. Well, hold on, there's a flaw here. I can go back on the 5th Wednesday of every month, but there is technically no concept of time within the Wonder World. So technically, this is the 5th Wednesday of every month right now for me to go back.
Yeah, every day in Wonderworld is the 5th of Wednesday. Okay, that's the thing. It's never and to be honest with you, Austin, I don't think I've ever seen Wonderworld become night. Okay, except for the one time when it became dark when Bach was introduced in the fucking movie, in the spin-off.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's so dumb.
Right.
And it's just like,
hey, did we talk about Toma's character at any point in the main series Kamen Rider?
Okay, we kind of touched on it. I don't give a shit anymore.
We touched upon it about his character, but boy,
hey, it's just like
his character. I'm gonna say his character was very bland and generic.
Yeah, it's just he's just like, oh, I decide how this story ends. I believe we can change the future.
Yeah. His character, right?
He's
supposed
like
to be the main hero.
He's basically
I
kind
did
of
not
like,
understand what he was achieving throughout the. Was him writing the fucking book? Was him finding Luna? Right? Because that's the thing. It's like he becomes the Kamen Rider, right? Right. Right. Wait, that's the thing. Like any super, like, why does he? What is his end goal? Like Spider-Man, all right? Spider-Man. Why does Spider-Man become? I'm sorry. Why does Peter Parker become Spider-Man? Right.
Well, because of Uncle Ben and stuff and yada yada.
Yeah, because Uncle Ben, great power. Then he takes it upon himself to become Spider-Man. But Toma just gets the Reika story. Like, cool.
Like
I have a fucking flame sword now.
If he was writing a story where he's basically wondering what happened to his friend or whatever, and that would be like. And that's why May is always bothering him. Like, hey, you're ever gonna send me that story that you were writing? He's like, and he told me like, oh yeah, I'm right. Like, she's like, oh, are you ever gonna finish a story about how you're still like how that character's still looking for your friend or whatever? And he's like, oh yeah, it's just I can't really think of one because I haven't fulfilled that myself. And then apparently if he learned that the sword could lead him to the answer for that,
it's so fucking let loose. Right?
Yeah, it's just
like because if you look at other series Kamen Rider, they actually do give good reason. Like I'm gonna go back to 01, right? 01 with Aruto, right? He becomes the Kamen because he is the next in line of the company.
Yeah, his grandfather owned the company.
All right, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead, finish it real quick because we're actually
so
running
basically,
long.
we know Aruto's goal in the season, why he becomes Kamen Rider 01, right? Even as bad as Kamen Rider Ghost was, the series that everyone likes to shit on, right? It's clear, obvious within the main series of why Tenji Takeru wants to become a Kamen Rider. Hey, I'm gonna die in 100 days. I kind of don't want that. Let me become the Kamen Rider so I don't die, right?
Yeah.
But for Toma's case, I didn't understand his real reason for being a Kamen Rider at the end of it.
The thing is, this is literally his whole personality. He is just a shonen protagonist who helps people, and he's given no development in that whatsoever. That's the thing. They just kind of say, oh yeah, he just helps people, and then that's it. And we were supposed to explore his character later on, but they don't really do too much of that. Like we get he's a novelist, we get he's trying to find Luna, but the thing is, we're not given any development on like why he cares about Luna so much, because we don't see a lot of their friendship at all. Again, this is a big thing that we were talking about with Luna already, so we don't need to really get into that. And he's just like he doesn't really inspire me or anything. You know, he inspires others, and we see that, and we see how that affects the other characters, like with Kento, and that leads to development for him. But we see no development with fucking Toma at all. We could have seen it with fucking Primitive Dragon, but we don't really get a lot of that either, because there was no consequence for him getting Primitive Dragon, and we don't see how that would have affected him as a character. Anyway, he's a fucking blank character. I don't give a shit about him anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just and it's just like back into the ending. Like, he reforms the world, he can apparently break the rules whatever he fucking wants, because whatever, right? And I'm like,
he writes the ending to the story. You want
to know what I would have loved? If it wasn't fucking Toma who saved the world, it was fucking May, okay?
Oh my god, yeah.
Because the thing is, that's what actually technically happens. Because she goes on the forum and basically gets everyone to share their story, and apparently that's what leads to Thomas being all like, oh, now the world is fine, right? But the thing is, I wish it was like rather like maybe because again, she's the editor. Like, what if she finished the story and because of that, she, like, that leads into like one more story, a story that a story that the Omniscient Tome never had because it was unfinished. Toma would be the one who writes it, but May is the one who finishes it, leading into the world being saved in some way, shape, or form. I would have accepted that a whole lot more. You know, it would have made sense too. Because the thing is, they say that May is the best of humanity. It would and we do see snippets of it, and she is literally like possibly the glue that kept the group together. Because she worked hard at that, and she brought the group back together because of that. It could have been seen with Bach too, another missed opportunity, and it would have been a nice final closure with her finishing the story, you know, because she is his editor, and the thing is, it would have shown like why these two characters work together. They have a nice dynamic, but it's not really explored. And if it was explored through more throughout the series, it would have made sense that she she finished the story. Like, because the thing is, Toma like throughout the whole fucking series is like, oh, I'll send it in at some point, right? And I'm like, if May was the one to finish it, it would have been a nice bookend to everything, you know?
Bookend.
Like, right? Pun not intended. But the thing is, May is probably should have been like by the end of it either the main character or like she should have been a main character. Well, she kind of is, but she's more of a supporting character. She should have been like a writer, or she should have been she should have shown why she's the best of humanity. Because
she got to steal Toma's award.
Yeah, honestly, and the thing is, it would have made sense. You know, it would have made so much fucking sense. Because
I was saying how she was supposed to be a character surrogate for us to understand in the crazy zany world.
Yeah, but she's so much more than that too, and I just wish the thing is. It's just May would have made this work so much better, and they placed such importance on her. It would have made sense for her to finish the book and then be like, "Well, I finally finished the book for you, Toma." And it's a story because of their collaboration together that the world is like, this is a new tale and it should be told, right? And maybe that's why the world holds it together or something like that. It's bullshit what I'm saying right now, but it feels like it would have been a lot better than what we got. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my closing thing. We're kind of running long at this point.
I don't think of any other closing thoughts I want to say.
Here's my rating.
Just
flash forward to rating.
Okay.
If I do it out of 10, I'm gonna say 5.5 out of 10 because I would say it passes the bar of being a Kamen Rider series. It has some good thoughts, but overall, it's not enough for it to be better than average. Like better than just just some fucking like popcorn shit. Like it exists. It's palatable. It's digestible, but it's not, and it's barely digestible, honestly, with the stuff that goes on. But it's something where it's like, okay, fine. I'm gonna let this one go. But otherwise, it's nothing. It's nothing. I will never go to someone, hey, if you want to watch Kamen Rider, you should watch Saber.
Yeah. C- for me.
What was that?
C- out of 10.
Oh, damn. That's oh, shit, man.
Yeah. Like, the problem was, throughout Saber, was the fact that how the show was presented and everything. Like, here's a story. The problem was, like, fine, hey, you want to write a story? Fine, make a story. Don't have people all of a sudden have to go, in order for you to understand the story, you have to read the other story, right? It's like how you read The Hobbit, right? Not The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, right? You can read book 1 of Lord of the Rings to book 2, you get the story. But then, hey, then check it out. Here's The Hobbit. You can also read The Hobbit, too. You're like, oh, cool. What's The Hobbit? I'll read it. Or what was the other book he put out?
The Silmarillion.
The Silmarillion.
That's like, here's the Silmarillion. You can read this. I'm like, oh, cool. I want to read more, right? The problem is this show, the way that it forces you to read, you have to, in order for it to understand, even if it still does a very bad job, in order to understand what the show, you have to consume all these random side media bits that exist for no reason to, because the producer show thought they had a banger on there, like, all right, the audience will love this. Let's all of a sudden, because that's the thing we were telling you throughout the show, like, this show production is so unorthodox, right? Because Kamen Rider doesn't do this. Like, you don't have this much side media all of a sudden be introduced, right? Right? Like Kamen Rider don't get side media until the series is over, right? Because that's when you get the general audience consensus, like, all right, people love the show. We can give them media, right? It's like the reason why there's only one Hulk movie and why there's three Spider-Man movie, right? It's like
three Spider-Man franchises,
right?
Series, or like 3 different Spider-Man.
It's like that. It's like people like, let's make more Spider-Man. It's like imagine if they just were like, we're gonna write every single Hulk movie and film every single Hulk movie, right? Because people are gonna love the Hulk. People love the Hulk, right? Yeah, it's like that. Okay. So C- for me, like, it has a lot of good things going, but boy, was it everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so a lot of Kamen Rider Saber.
What shape are you gonna give this one? I'm curious. What shape is your rating?
God, it's just like, it has such great characters, but a lot of and the thing is, but we only get caricatures, and we only explore the depth of some of them. There's a lot of a lot of them are underutilized, or they have maybe only a few of them have good arcs, or like they have something leading up, but it never leads to anywhere. Good ideas, but there's never proper setup and very little in terms of payoff. The story is a mess all over. There is a lack of focus. It doesn't know what it wants to do. And then when it does sometimes when it does have a focus on something, like with Disaster or Rentaro, it does fantastic, right? But the thing is, those moments are so few and far between. Like, I can't enjoy the show as a whole. I can look back on the show and think fondly of some of the characters and some of the arcs, but I can't appreciate it as a whole. Because it's just it lacks focus, it lacks vision. It has an idea, but it's not fully formed. It's kind of like Tomo's book. It's like it's unfinished, you know, and it's just like we'll never get something that a good proper story out of it. And I would have loved to have loved this series, because it does shine in some moments, but then it's just it's not even a diamond in the rough. It's kind of like it's a diamond, kind of like shattered, buried underneath some shit. You know, it's kind of the thing I think I can kind of describe it with. Like I'll forever love Mei as a character. I'll forever love Tasso and Yuri and Rentaro, and I love the arc that is shown with me with Disaster and Ren, but it's just everyone else is just like to me, you know. Even Toma and like Kento is like kind of developed, but he's just still kind of to me too. I wish I could love this series, but ultimately I think it's probably like maybe I want to say we'll give it a 4.5.
Damn.
Oh, okay.
It's just I want to love it. It's just like like an average show to me in terms of my rating is like a 7. Okay. Like getting there is an 8. 9 is good.
We watch a lot of movies. I see that 7 gets thrown out a lot.
9 is good, and 10 is fucking fantastic. It's not perfect, but it's fucking fantastic. But the thing is, it's just I want to love it. I want to love it, but I can't. So a 4 out of 5 out of 10 for me for this show.
Wait, it's 4 out of 5 out of 10.
I'm just disappointed.
What does that mean?
I'm just 4.5 out of. Okay, that's what I mean. 4.5.
Okay, there we go.
4.5. I'm sorry, but it's just. I wish I could love this show, but it's. I'm burned out from it.
Yeah,
by the
end. It fucked us up.
Yeah, that's usually how I really felt at the end.
Yeah.
At this, like, I was like, I'm glad it's over. Not because I was like, oh man, I'm really glad I was there. I was like, boy, I'm so glad we don't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah, like I might revisit some moments, but only because of certain characters.
I damn sure won't. Hey,
look, William, we still got spin-off media to discuss in the future, all right?
It's just. I hope Revice does better, and that's how I'll leave it. Really.
Yeah, and we will find out. In the next
in fact, because the Revice review is out now on YouTube because of production order. I was about to say stay tuned for the Revice, but then I remember it is actually out now on YouTube by the time this gets uploaded. due to how this is actually technically considered a side video. Hey, all right, here's a better segue for us to edit it. Where the fuck is Power Rangers Dino Fury?
Where the fuck is Power Rangers Dino Fury?
Oh my god! At least with that show, I know I can meme it from the beginning because I'm not gonna expect too much from the American Power Rangers.
Don't meme this. Don't meme that important pivotal moment, or else you'll be labeled as a bigot.
What?
I gotta look this up afterwards.
Don't.
All these hints and more in Kamen Rider Revice. Coronavirus is still a thing. Get your shots. Wear a mask.
Wash your hands.
Don't take horse medicine.